Kara with iStampin.com. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel today. And today I am back for a third installment of my top favorite items from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. And today I'm going to be focusing on my top 10 favorite tools. So why don't we just get started? And I'm going to start at number 10, and I am going to be choosing the Stampin' Up! Grid paper. I think this is an awesome tool, especially because I'm able to utilize the rulers on the horizontal and vertical part of the grid paper. It tells me templates if for any reason, if I forget the measurements, it gives me the correct measurements right here. So that's always really nice. And the other reason why I like it so much is when I am looking to line up, you know, if I have my card right here and I'm wanting to line up a sentiment or lining up paper, I utilize these grid lines, and that helps me keep everything straight. So if you are a person that likes things to be very symmetrical and do not have the grid paper, I highly recommend using it. Oh, and then of course also it protects your workspace. So you're able to stamp off, not have to worry about getting ink all over your workspace. So of course that's the best part of it. All right, so let me get my list. So that was number 10. Number 9, I am choosing the heat gun. The heat tool gun. Now this is an older style Stampin' Up! Heat tool. They do have a newer version and it has 2 settings. So you know, that's great because there's some times when you don't need to use a high setting, especially if you're working with a delicate piece of paper like say a vellum. So having that lower setting is ideal. But if you are somebody who loves to heat emboss, this is a must. You know, some people have asked me, can I use a hair dryer? No, you can't use a hair dryer because here the heat gun, it's very localized in the way that it heats. So a hair dryer, it would just take too long. You would end up burning the powder. So my number 9 favorite tool is the heat gun tool. Okay, number 8 is the Stampin' Dimensionals, as well as the snail. These are my 2 go-to favorite adhesives that Stampin' Up! Carries. I love the Stampin' Dimensionals, especially to give dimension on projects, but what I like them the most is that it is the value, like $3.95, so it's a very economical adhesive. But the one reason why I like, or one of the other reasons why I like them so much is that they're thin. And so if I need to build it up, I can just stack dimensional upon dimensional to give it a thicker pop on a card. But I just like them because just by themselves, they give you just the right amount of thickness. So you can see there. So they're 1/16 thick. But like I said, if I need to make it thicker, I'll just stack 2 on top of each other. And then the snail is just such an easy adhesive to use. The refills just pop right out. It's just such a easy go-to, and things really stick. I don't have too many times when a card's falling apart because the adhesive is just not sticking. So those are my 2 favorite adhesives, and that was number 8. Number 7 is going to be the paper piercing mat, and this is just such an essential tool now that Stampin' Up! Is producing and creating more photopolymer stamps. And I know that if y'all are viewers of my videos and watch them, you'll see how I'm always saying that if you don't have a mat underneath your photopolymer stamps, you're not going to get a great impression. And the one reason why I like this so much is, like I've said in the past, I like the size. It's a large rectangle, but I like the thickness and I like the firmness. There's the give that you need, but then it's firm at the same time. So I think this is a must tool, especially if you like to use the photopolymer stamps, but then at the same time to use your paper piercer and to pierce, if you're needing to make a hole, to thread a ribbon or twine through, or if you're doing more decorative designs with your paper piercer, this is definitely a must. Number 6 is going to be my paper snips. These are just such a nice high quality pair of scissors. They're little enough and sharp enough to get in there for fine details if I need to do any fussy cutting. I try to steer clear of that. Thank goodness for framelits that match stamp sets nowadays. But they're just such a nice quality. I like that it comes with this little protective cover because they are so sharp. It is nice to be able to put that on and to protect me from getting stabbed. By myself if I grab the wrong end or whatever. Not that people are going around my house stabbing each other, but y'all know what I mean. All right, so I love the paper snips. They're a really high quality. If they ever get dull, you can take them to your local sewing store to get sharpened. I've even read online that there's, I guess, some maybe Fiskars that has a sharpening kit. I do need to look into that because I do have some other scissors that have gotten a little dull, and so I do need to get these. I need to get some scissors sharpened. All right, so let's see. Number 5 is going to be the envelope punch board. And the reason why I picked this is because I use it to create so many different tools, or excuse me, so many different items. And obviously it can make envelopes, and you can see all the different sizes, these 3 columns of different type of, different sizes of envelopes. But I also use it to make gift card holders. I've shown you how I take a gift card holder and modify it and make it into a candy holder. There's so many videos out on YouTube showing how to make boxes with this. So it's just such a really versatile tool, and it's just so easy to use. So I highly recommend this tool as well. I mean, I'm gonna be saying that on all of them. I think all of them are must-haves, but this is just such a tool that comes in handy a lot of times. All right, number 4 is going to be the magnetic platform for the Big Shot. And when this first came out, maybe a year and a half ago, I'm not quite sure when it was, maybe in the spring of 2013, it was really hard to get. It just sold out so fast, and it was on back order for quite some time. So when I finally was able to get this last fall, I was just so excited. It's totally worth the money that it costs. I think it's $39.95. But to use it with framelits and not to have the framelits come off when you're trying to place the paper on the platform is just worth every penny. If you have if you have just the regular platform and you're trying to place the framelit on there, and you got to get out the washi tape or your Post-it notes and post it on there, and then make sure everything's lined up perfectly, and then run it through the Big Shot. This just saves so much time. For instance, I'm going to show you here. This is Flower Fair. This is a new stamp set and framelits that's in the annual catalog, and this is just a scrap piece of paper, and I'm just going to show you. So, let's say this was stamped right here and I put it on there. I mean, did you hear that? Like, I'm trying to lift this up. This is not going anywhere. So it is stuck on there. These magnets are very strong. Now, there is a warning if you are a person that does have a pacemaker. unfortunately, the magnets are too strong that it could affect the device. Your device. So unfortunately, that's the only disclaimer that I can, that I have to give on this. But other than that, it's fabulous. Like I said, it's the biggest time saver for me when I use my Big Shot a lot. Okay, let's see. Number 3. Now I showed these last week, so I'm not going to highlight them too much, but number 3 are going to be my go-to punches. These are the 3 punches that I just use the most, and they're just so much fun to use. And what it is, it's the 1 1/4 inch circle punch, the 1 3/8 circle punch, and then the the scallop circle punch. I think this is 1 1/4 as well. So these are just my favorite punches. So that's number 3. Number 2 is going to be the Stampin Trimmer. I don't know where I would be without this thing. I have used many different type of trimmers. I've had the guillotine, I've had the rotary, and then I've had, I don't know, I guess you just call this like a slider trim. I'm not sure. But this one is just the nicest in terms of the features that it offers. First thing is that it has this locking gizmo, so you can't release the arm, and so it's very easy to use. So now it's unlocked. It has a scorer, which is really nice. This is the paper trimmer. The other thing that I like about it is that it actually gives really straight cuts. I don't know if you've been paper cutting challenged like I have, but I've had other trimmers that I think that I have everything lined up, and when I go to cut it and I look at it, it's like all wonky, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what I did wrong, but I never have those issues with this trimmer. It's a very nice cutting. It's very smooth, and it lasts for a very long time. There is this little guide here that it just goes right into this channel. So if you start to see that your paper is getting, it kind of has those little rough edges, it's not getting such as a clean sharp, you just rotate this, and then you just should have no problem. And then once you start getting that kind of those rough edges again, these are replaceable. So these are in the catalog to get those cutting mats replaced. The other thing that is so nice is having the measuring, ruler on this end on the right side of the trimmer. I mean, there's so many times when you're trying to cut something thin, and the paper's too thin over here once you put the arm down, and you just can't get it. So to be able to use the measurements over here and to make the cut from the left side is just such a nice feature. The other thing, especially for us card makers, is this goes all the way out to 6 inches. Here, let me kind of zoom in a little bit. It goes all the way out to 6 inches. And for other trimmers, they usually stop right at 5.5, and then you got to put out your arm. And, then you usually have this seam here. Whoops, sorry. You usually have this seam here, and you're like, oh, you get a little hesitant about actually where you're supposed to be cutting. Well, with this being 6 inches and the majority of our cards being 4 1/4 by 5.5, you never have that problem. You do have a full 14.5 inches out here, so you definitely have oversized arm. It's just such a high quality. It's very sturdy, it's very stable. On the back side, you do have some storage components if you had extra blades, things like that. And there are some additions to the Stampin' Trimmer. You can get rotary like decorative edges, and so when you do that, you would just remove this arm and put on a different arm. So there are some other accessories that you can add to this that really give you some versatility. So that's number 2. And then my number 1 will have to be my Big Shot. I use this tool so much, and it's just It's just the best thing ever. Big Shot and framelits. I'll have to add framelits in there. I am just so pleased that Stampin' Up! Is offering so many stamp sets that have matching framelits. It's made stamping really fun for me. Before that, I would attempt to fussy cut, and I just was never happy with my results. I mean, some people are just talented, are very good at cutting. I'm not one of them. So having the framelits that match the stamp sets has just been so much fun, and to be able to have a tool that cuts things so nicely is just makes crafting a lot of fun, makes making cards and home decor pieces and things like that really fun. So those are my top 10 favorites. You can let me know if I left out one of your favorites, if you agree with what I chose. If you have any questions about any of the items that I've picked, please just comment below in the accompanying blog post, excuse me, or you can feel free to email me, and you can contact me at www.istampin.com. And I hope you ladies have a fabulous day. Thanks. Bye.